Why did Steve-o turn down the opportunity to be on Bill Maher's podcast? We're going to talk about that today and more on Speechless. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host, Phares, 23-year-old conservative activist, host of Speechless, not only the radio show, but also the podcast platform here on YouTube and a ton of others. So make sure to not miss a minute of any of this, that you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit that subscribe button. And to build the following, let's share this video with our friends, family, everybody under the sun. Share this video on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, anywhere that you can. And then also please comment what you guys think. I'd really appreciate it. But let's get on into the story here. Former Jackass star Steve-o claims that he turned down an appearance on Bill Maher's podcast because the host refused to refrain from smoking marijuana in front of him. Bill Maher's podcast, I've covered it a lot on this show, Club Random, brings on pretty much anybody across the political and entertainment spectrum, from Candace Owens to Sheryl Crow to pretty much anybody. And so to not have Steve-o, who himself hosts a pretty popular podcast, on Bill Maher's seems interesting. The 49-year-old Steve-o, who is a reality star and his full name is actually Stephen Glover, went through a very public battle with addiction and says he's been sober for 16 years. Glover told Patrick Bet-David on a recent episode of his podcast, Wild Ride, exactly what went down with Bill Maher. And so take a look and a listen to this clip right here of Steve-o and Patrick Bet-David talking a little bit on that podcast. Here's that.
Just a piece of your appearance on Bill Maher's show.
Yeah.
And I found the way he spoke to you to be rather insulting. And I don't need you to respond to that. It's more of a comment than a question. Are you a guy who enjoys smoking marijuana or breathing in marijuana?
Marijuana is very good for me, but I don't smoke weed.
Okay.
And let me explain why. It goes back to the coffee thing. Anything that brings me here, it's better for the people around me. Because I'm always like this. So I'm sure the people that work with me would like for me to smoke weed every day, right? But I'm not gonna do that. But I don't listen. If you're smoking weed, that's nothing for me. I'm not somebody that smokes weed. Every time I've enjoyed it, but man, I haven't done that for God knows mid to late 20s last time. So mid 20s. Yeah.
I bring that up because for me, I'm a clean and sober guy. Like, it's very important that I maintain my sobriety.
How long have you been?
Approaching 16 years.
Get out of here.
Yes.
I knew you had. I didn't know it was 16 years.
I'm about to be sweet
Good
16.
for you, bro. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And there's nothing, like, really, there's nothing that I value more than my sobriety. There's nothing more that I protect than my recovery. And I found it kind of upsetting when the Bill Maher podcast, which I saw you on, reached out, and they his thing is he smokes pot the whole time while he interviews people, and I said, hey, I'd happily go on there, but could he, while I'm on, out of respect for my sobriety, could he refrain from smoking pot?
Said no.
He said no. That's a deal breaker.
Wow.
And Mike Tyson's podcast is called Hotboxing. Like, the whole point, like, be real. All of these prolific potheads, I've been on their shows, and it wasn't so important to them to blow marijuana smoke in my face.
I did not know that.
For Bill Maher, it was a deal breaker, and I found, and maybe that's why, whenever you kind of see through the lens. So I watched you and the way he spoke to it. I could probably see him say the most innocuous thing and find it insulting.
No, it obviously would be a turnoff when sobriety has become so important to you. And the thing is that while Steve-o mentioned Maher consistently smokes on his show, Club Random, it's interesting to note that he didn't during his recent discussion with Sheryl Crow that aired on March 24th. But I guess Steve-o wasn't cool enough to get that kind of treatment. But here's the thing: is we could talk about the beef of Steve-o versus Bill Maher, and I could get into the weeds about that, as whether or not it's really even there. I really don't think that's that big of a deal, but it raises larger questions and very important questions regarding marijuana usage. That's really what I want to talk about today, because yeah, Bill Maher wouldn't stop smoking for that. And people have consistently claimed this idea, because it's got me thinking. People claim marijuana is not addictive. Marijuana is really not that big of a deal. It's actually better for you than alcohol is. Well, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, daily marijuana use has reached its highest level reported, according to their study from 2022. And so questions loom as to how harmful marijuana use actually is. And so let's actually break it down. I looked into it a little bit, and also according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, there are physical effects. There are clear physical effects when it comes to using marijuana. And these are long term. Of course, there's the effects of the short term, but these are long term. Breathing problems, increased heart rate, intense nausea and vomiting. Regular long term marijuana use can lead to some people to develop cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. There's also the mental effects that can be caused, like temporary hallucinations, temporary paranoia, worsening symptoms in patients with schizophrenia, a severe mental disorder, which symptoms such as hallucinations, paranoia, and disorganized thinking are common. And so this is the thing: is this so healthy for our mind and for our body? When schizophrenia patients, it actually worsens their symptoms. It worsens their symptoms. I've even heard stories of which people getting psychosis and having severe psychosis after prolonged and consistent marijuana usage. How does marijuana affect a person's life? Let's answer that question. Compared to those who don't use marijuana, those who frequently use large amounts report the following: lower life satisfaction, poorer mental health, poorer physical health, more relationship problems. And again, this is all from the National Institute of Drug Abuse. So while we've been told, oh, marijuana is so great, it can help you feel better if you're going through some kind of an illness, or it can help with your anxiety, it can actually make you it can be so great for all these things. It's not even addictive. People who use marijuana are more likely to report mental health issues, physical health issues, lower satisfaction in their life. Have we been lied to? Have we been lied to? Maybe. People also report less academic and career success. For example, marijuana use is linked to a higher likelihood of dropping out of school. It's also linked to more job absences, accidents, and injuries. Interesting. So the people that are potheads actually tend to be lazier? And not even just lazier, unhappier? A study funded by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute found that the use of cannabis, actually predominantly through smoking, was associated with a 25% increase in the likelihood of a heart attack and a 42% increased likelihood of stroke when compared to non-use of the drug. So here's everything I'm hearing so far. Bill Maher needs to smoke weed to do his podcast, won't let Steve-o on, and the effects of that, of smoking weed, will cause breathing problems, heart rate problems, nausea and vomiting, paranoia, worsening symptoms similar to schizophrenia, lower life satisfaction, poor mental health, poor physical health, more relationship problems, and you are increasing your chances of stroke and heart attack. All while maybe helping out with your anxiety that one time. Now, to answer the most important question, the one that everybody always claims, is that marijuana isn't addictive. You'll hear it from the Cheech and Chong-like dudes who are like, marijuana isn't addictive, man. No, man. Go hemp, go weed, man. Smoke every day, man. No, it's not addictive, man. That's how they sound. These people that are not very satisfied with their lives. So is it addictive? Well, once again, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, many people who use marijuana long-term and are trying to quit report mild withdrawal symptoms. that make quitting difficult. These include grouchiness, sleeplessness, decreased appetite, anxiety, cravings. So, those who sold the country that this drug was perfectly safe, non-addictive, they lied to us. As I've laid out, it is not perfectly safe. You have increased health risks utilizing marijuana. And as for being addictive, if you are having withdrawal symptoms, I mean, we already knew this, right? Anything that alters your brain chemistry to make you feel better temporarily is in some way addictive. You might not necessarily be addicted to marijuana itself, but you're addicted to the feeling that it causes, and so you're going to use it. And so you're addicted with extra steps to marijuana. That's essentially what it is. And if you're getting withdrawal symptoms, you were addicted to that substance. That's how it works. So Bill Maher obviously is a very wealthy and powerful person in terms of his media accolades. Steve-o, in his own right, is a very powerful person when it comes to his following. What I will say when it comes to all of this is sobriety isn't such a bad thing. Now, I'm not going to shame somebody for having the occasional drink, but sobriety isn't such a bad thing. And to shame somebody and not let them on your podcast for it is wrong, and it's stupid. Because by not smoking weed, by not wanting to be around it, by valuing his sobriety, Steve-o, statistically, is a lot better off. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And to make sure that you don't miss a minute of anything else I talk about, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. And lay off the weed. Lay off the weed. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. God bless you. God bless America. And until next time, you've been watching Speechless.